What is art block? Why do creatives get art block? The 4 forms of art block, and how do you push through art block? These are the 4 questions we're going to answer today in this week's video. Thank you so much for joining. My name is Faith, and welcome to my channel. If you decide you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more from me. This week we're doing a part 1 of my art block series where we discuss the 4 forms of art block and how you overcome each one. I'm gonna just do a cute paint with me video and I hope you enjoy. Art block is when you can't access your creativity and you're unmotivated to work. Nothing looks good in your eyes and you don't enjoy the process anymore of creating. All artists at one point or another are going to experience art block. It just happens. I think often it happens more than it should though. That can be really hard, especially when art is part of your job and you have to meet deadlines, you have to create things for new products, and it can be really frustrating when you're stuck in art block. It's also hard when you're a beginner and you're just trying to learn to draw and get better, and then you get stuck and you just can't get past that point of feeling stuck and you're unmotivated and you're just struggling. All of us artists have experienced that at one point or another. And I feel often there's not a lot of content really explaining what it is and how to have realistic steps on how to overcome that and move forward. I think often art block is just this thing you can't control and it just happens and there's nothing you can do about it and you can't prevent it. And that's just not true. And I just want in these videos to be able to explain how I overcome art block and how you guys can too, so your creative journey is as enjoyable and productive as it can be. I think for a while I wondered if art block wasn't even real, because I know I had experienced art block before and I have a different opinion than a lot of people do on art block. I do think it's something that you can control to an extent, and I think a lot of people just assume you can't, and often it is an excuse to not draw. But there's also the 4 reasons that we go through art block, and those are lack of inspiration, mental or physical health struggles, lack of knowledge to improve, or burnout. Today we're going to focus on burnout and what causes burnout and how to get past that. I want to talk about the definition of burnout. This is a definition from the American Psychological Association. Physical, emotional, or mental exhaustion accompanied by decreased motivation, lowered performance, and negative attitudes towards oneself and others. Burnout results from performing at a high level until stress and tension, especially from extreme and prolonged physical or mental exertion or an overburdening workload, takes their toll. I have a lot of experience being burnt out. I think artists are often burnt out because we have to do so many parts of our job. You know, there's the creating, there's also doing all the social media. If you're a small business owner, it has to do with so many things: creating YouTube videos, creating content, answering emails, doing your taxes. For me, it's going to conventions. It just can be very overwhelming, and there's a lot of pieces, and there's this temptation to just hustle, go, 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 go. Don't take a break. You don't have time to take a break. Just get it done. Don't be lazy. And that can cause burnout because you're not only trying to do more than you can handle, you're also fighting yourself and not properly resting and taking care of you. I think often I always have to remind myself that taking breaks is productive. If I don't properly sleep, if I don't properly rest or enjoy my time, I burn out. I need 2 days a week to do nothing. I need my weekend. And sometimes I work on my weekend still, but if I'm going to work on my weekend, I try to give myself a break during the week. So if I'm just having a day during the week that I'm just tired and struggling, only work 4 hours. You worked about 4 hours on the weekend. That's okay. So I think one of the biggest things that we need to do is be able to be more loving to ourselves. I think something I'm trying to remember is the way I talk to myself. I would not talk to a friend that way. I would not tell them that they're being lazy, that they need a hustle, they shouldn't take breaks. stay up really late, get up really early, do whatever it takes to make your dreams come true as soon as possible, and anything less than that is failing. I wouldn't tell my friend that. I shouldn't be telling that to me. I think a lot of us as artists do that. We feel guilty for enjoying any part of our job. And that just doesn't make sense. The reason a lot of us decided to pursue or want to pursue art as a career feel like we can't enjoy our job and it still be work. So if you're enjoying it, it's not real work. And the logic of that doesn't make sense. All of these things can seriously cause burnout, can potentially jeopardize your career, your dreams of being full-time. There's so many problems that can happen from burnout. And I think the first step in getting past it is forgiving yourself when you do mess up, because we all will, and taking breaks and realizing when you're struggling. So how do you overcome burnout to break its hold on your creativity? What are some steps that you can take to breaking that cycle and enjoying your art and enjoying your journey as an artist? The first thing is rest. You need to have rest. If you're not resting and you're always working, it's like driving a car with that gas light goes on and it's like, hey, you're driving on fumes. I'm gonna break down. Please be careful. Please fill it up. I need some maintenance. It doesn't work like that, and our bodies are the same way. You need to rest. You need to try to eat healthy. You need to take your sleep seriously. You need to find a schedule that works for you, that is comfortable, that gives you the most energy you need. An example for this for me is I was trying so hard to go to bed at 11 p.m., get up at 8 in the morning, because that was already sleeping in. Compared to most people, most entrepreneurs, everyone's getting up at 5 in the morning. I can get up at 8. I should be able to get up at 8. And I tried so hard to make that schedule work for me, and I just couldn't sleep. I was exhausted all the time, and because of that, I couldn't function when I wasn't sleeping, so I would sleep in, and then I'd wake up at 10 and feel like a failure. And that just burned me out. I was just tired of feeling like a failure. And I was talking to a friend and she's like, Faith, just do time that works for you. Get up late, go to bed late, work the times that you're productive. Don't worry about getting up early. Don't worry about what other people think, because you're going to be more productive when you are focused on when your energy is highest than trying to do what everybody else is doing. So if you're the person that needs to get up at 5 in the morning and go to bed at 8, be that person. If you're the person that needs to go to bed at 3 a.m. and get up at 11, be that person. That's okay. If y'all want to know, my schedule is anywhere between 1 and 2 a.m. and 10 and 11 a.m. That's what works for me. Sometimes I work on and off till midnight. That's okay. That's what I'm comfortable with. I am most productive later on in the day creatively. And I'm so much happier than when I was trying to please everybody else and felt like a failure when I failed at that. You don't have to feel that way. So the first thing is rest. Make sure you take time for yourself. The second thing, and this is more controversial, so this is just what works for me. If this doesn't work for you, that's okay. But I would encourage you to try it, and try it for a little bit. Draw every day in your comfort zone. I'm not just saying draw every day and push yourself and try to make something beautiful and stunning. No, draw crappy stuff. Draw crappy drawings. If you're really good at drawing profiles and that's your comfort zone, or even you're like okay with drawing profiles, but you love doing it, just do that. Do that until you start feeling more motivated to do artwork. Just do that. And it can be for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, 2 hours. It doesn't matter. Just try to do at least 5 to 15 minutes working in your comfort zone every day. I have been drawing for 30 minutes every day for 7 years. Other than one day when I was in the ER, and I think that's okay. And I'm not saying everyone has to do that, because that's not for everybody. But I think that is why I've been able to push through art block, is because I always draw every day for 30 minutes. So I get past that oh, I'm struggling drawing, when it's a habit. It's more of a habit sometimes than brushing my teeth, than making my bed, than getting out of my PJs. I always draw for 30 minutes every day. And again, I know that's not reasonable for some people. That's something you can try, is drawing every day in something that's fun. Do it in a messy sketchbook. Have a sketchbook that you have that's just for crappy art. That's just for art when you're exhausted or you don't really want to make something overly beautiful. If you make an ugly drawing, you made an ugly drawing. That's not the end of the world. It's better than not making a drawing at all. And I think sometimes we forget that. We're like, it's an ugly drawing. I'm like, well, it's that or nothing. I would take the ugly drawing over nothing. Wouldn't you? An ugly drawing does not mean it's a failure. I think when we make ugly art, we just think, oh, that's a failure. But it's not. You've learned from that. And maybe you don't know what you've learned. Maybe it's worse than the drawing you did before. That's okay. But you're also getting in the habit of it. You're getting in the habit of doing ugly drawings. Eventually, you're gonna make a good one. You have to get through a lot of ugly drawings to start making good art. And that comes to my next point, is ignore perfectionism. Perfectionism is bad. You do not want to be a perfectionist. All perfectionism does is hold you back because it's fear of failure. You can't be a fear of failure and push towards success, because to push towards success, you will fail. There's no question. It happens. You might make an Instagram post and it flops. You might try to make a gorgeous drawing and it's ugly. There's so many things that you're gonna fail at. The real failure is either never trying or giving up. Don't be a perfectionist. I am a terrible perfectionist. I feel like if I made a bad drawing, I failed. I mean, I'm saying this to myself as I'm saying it to you guys. Like, this is helping me too. I'm trying to think about how I would talk to a friend, and it helps me realize that I don't have to be perfect, and my art doesn't have to be perfect. But when you're burnt out, really focus on your comfort zone. So quick recap is number 1, rest. Number 2, draw every day in your comfort zone. Number 3, ignore perfectionism. Number 4 is enjoy the process of making bad art. And number 5, every piece of bad art gets you closer to good art. Burnout is so common in creatives. And I think it's starting to be something that people talk about a little bit more. It's the negative side of hustle culture that we don't want to talk about. Hustle culture can be damaging, and it can sometimes be so damaging that you never get back up. You are going to be more productive if you rest when you need it than work when you're exhausted. You are not going to get any quality work done when you're exhausted. Everything's going to be bad because you're exhausted. You can't function when you are exhausted, when you are burnt out to the level that you can when you're fully rested, ready to go, motivated, feeling creative. So don't let yourself get to a point where you're so burnt out that you feel even more like a failure because your work sucks. My work sucks when I'm burnt out. It just does. Well, I hope this video helped you out today. If you did and you found value, please smash that like button for me and give me a subscribe. I'm actually going to be bringing out 3 more of these videos, one every month. So you can be looking forward to part 2 next month. And if you're interested, I do studio vlogs as well. I'll be uploading another one next week, and I hope to see you there. All right, bye.